So yeah, the question is, how do you know when you really forgive somebody? This is great. And before we even go into the question, I want to make one thing clear. You will not be forgiven until you forgive. God makes that very clear. Forgive others, so your Father in heaven will forgive you. That's very plain, very, very. It's so important because a lot of people are holding on to unforgiveness. This is crucial, and I want people to really hear that. You need to forgive whoever hurt you. That's very crucial. You need to forgive. But how do you know when you really forgive? Okay, there was a time where I really struggled with forgiving somebody, but I convinced myself that I forgave them. And what I really meant was, I suppressed thinking about them. I suppressed looking at things that reminded me of them, but deep down there was unforgiveness there. And I didn't know it took God literally to kind of wake me up and go, you have not yet forgiven them. And I was kind of struck because it's like, oh my God, I don't want to be hit with this person no more. I'm tired of thinking about this person. But unforgiveness is a real thing. It's a crutch. And what is so interesting about unforgiveness is the other person isn't hurting. Only the person holding on to unforgiveness is hurting. That's very crucial. So I think about a year went by after something had happened with this person, and I was just holding on to unforgiveness, didn't even know it. And God just brought to my attention, you have not yet forgiven them. And I was really able to just get to a place where it was like, there was some sort of communication that took place, let's say. But that isn't the core of the story. I want to get into the real core of the story. One day I had a dream about the person, and I just took the dream as a sign from God as saying that this person was getting ready to come back into my life. And I was just like, God, listen, I think it's best that, me and this person just stay separate. And he just kind of made clear to me, he didn't give me the dream to kind of prep me to bring them back to me, but for me to pray for them. The Bible says, pray for those who hurt you, pray for those who curse you, pray for those people who, do you wrong in a sense. And I said, okay, I'll do that, And I just began to pray for that person. And what I found was when you pray for somebody, you can only say things that are good. When you're praying for somebody, you're literally putting yourself aside and making them priority. When you're praying for somebody, you're literally seeing to it that God does what's best for them and sees to it that they are blessed. I think that's so powerful because do you know how hard it is to pray for somebody you can't stand? And what's happening here is your flesh wants to keep them in this place of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness sometimes feels good. Unforgiveness is so deceiving that you almost feel like you're getting an upper hand on them because you're holding a grudge. That person isn't thinking about you, worried about you. And it's like, what may have happened, I'm sorry, whatever, because these things, some serious things take place where people get unforgiveness in their heart, but you have to let that go. God says, forgive so I can forgive you. Show mercy. I have mercy on you. Don't judge, and you won't be judged to that measure. These things are very important. But I say, pray for that person you have a grudge against. Pray for that person you're having trouble with forgiving, and watch the posture of your heart change. Even in praying for that person, I believe God will begin to show you why, or what's the underline of what they are going through. While you're praying for them, you start to even realize how broken that person is, how hurt that person is, or even just seeing, wow, that person can't even really love. They aren't even in touch with themselves. And you start to really get clarity on why they did certain things. Not saying that God will give you the specific reason, but I'm telling you, if you begin to pray for people and literally pray for them to be blessed and pray for that God puts his hand on them, it's a beautiful thing. And unforgiveness, when it leaves you, there's something that lifts. A dark cloud will lift. You will feel free. But I encourage the person to forgive. But forgiveness is hard. And that's why I'm saying the best and greatest tool that I've ever found was to pray for your enemies. Pray for them. Pray for the person you have a grudge against. Pray for the person that's hurting you or that's really causing a lot of stress or whatever in your life. Pray for that person. Let go of unforgiveness and be free. How do you know? Your freedom will come. Your freedom will come. I'm not even about to sit here and say, you just stop thinking about the person. Pray for that person. Pray for that person until you stop thinking about it. Pray for that person until you're healed. Pray for that person until you feel the cloud lifted off of you. Pray for that person. Pray for that person. Pray all the things that you will pray for yourself for that person, and watch the posture of your heart change.